Hello, everybody. Today we're going to read Sylvester and Tweety Read the Mystery, The London Looter. I'm reading this for my daughter, my oldest daughter. She wants to hear it, so this is for you, McKenna. Tweety was having the time of his life in London, visiting museums, palaces, and public buildings. He walked along the Thames River. Is that how you say that? Thames, the Thames River, the famous waterway of the city. It's pronounced Thames, said Granny, no matter how it's spelled. Okay, Thames, Granny says. We'll listen to Granny. You can't even say Granny correctly, Sylvester muttered to Tweety. Granny, Granny, the cat mimicked. So how are you going to say the name of that stupid river? You're a silly bird. I'm not silly, said Tweety, and I'm going to prove it. This exchange took place as Granny and her two pets walked out of the British Museum, the oldest museum in the world. They had been astounded by the Egyptian mummies, the ancient treasures, and the great art they had just seen. But something would soon happen that would astound them even more. Ooh, what's gonna happen? Tommy, their tour guide, was waiting by his black car outside the museum. Hurry, he called. We've got lots to see, and it's time for the changing of the guards at Buckingham Palace. In moments, they were driving through the picturesque streets of London. Beautiful. There they are. So cute. They got to Buckingham Palace just minutes before 11 a.m. when the royal guard is exchanged. We made it, exclaimed Tommy. The crowd of tourists was huge, and in the chaos, Tommy disappeared. Granny thought for a moment that they had lost their tour guide. But minutes later, Tommy was back by their side. Tommy explained that the ceremony went back to the Middle Ages and when the soldiers protected their rulers. Now it was more of a show for tourists. Oh, did we skip a page? We did. Well, these tourists loved it. Granny was talking about it as they rode through the crowded streets. Suddenly, they heard a news carrier shout out, "Extra, extra, big robbery along the Thames Walk. Expensive watches stolen." We were just there, cried Granny. Let's get a paper, Tommy. Sorry, we can't stop, said the guide, looking at his watch. Our reservations at the Wax Museum are in 10 minutes. I hope they get the wobber, Tweety told Sylvester. You certainly won't help, the cat sneered. Guys, watches were stolen. Watches were stolen. Look what Tommy has. That's a little suspicious, don't you think? I don't know. At the Wax Museum, they heard the cry of another newsman. Watches stolen at the British Museum, he called out. A fortune in watches stolen. We were just there, said Granny. It happens all the time in London, laughed Tommy. I wonder if it does, Tweety thought. Tweety and Sylvester studied a scary wax figure of a masked man known as the London Looter. He stole millions and has never been caught, Tweety read. Stole millions, never been caught. The London Looter. Does that look like Tommy? I don't know. While Granny viewed the figure of the London Looter, Tweety studied a wax figure of Jack the Tripper, who had tripped people all across England, till he himself tripped and fell in front of a police station. What a time to trip Tweety up, thought Sylvester, springing at the cannery. Feeling the cat's eyes on him, Tweety quickly jumped away, but Sylvester crashed into the wax figure of Jack the Tripper. You behave, Granny told the cat, or we will leave you here amongst these scary wax figures. Naughty, naughty. Sylvester behaved after that, and soon they were on their way to the Tower of London. Suddenly, there was another cry from a newsman. Extra, extra, he exclaimed. Looter strikes again, this time outside Buckingham Palace. It's as if the scoundrel is following us, cried Granny. Or the scoundrel is with us, Tweety whispered to Sylvester. Are you blaming me? Snapped the cat. Not this time, replied Tweety. Not this time. Who do you think it is? Ooh, look at Tommy's nice watch. So many coincidences, says Granny. As they arrived at the Tower of London, we've been to every place that's been robbed today. Well, we've pretty much covered the city, the tour guide smiled, looking at his wristwatch. I think we should spend a good 2 hours here, he said, and that's when Tweety knew. Tweety, Sylvester, Granny, and Tommy were in the enormous courtyard staring at the wonderful buildings around them when Tweety went into action. Ooh, what's Tweety gonna do? I think she knows the same thing we know. You called me silly. Well, I think you're the dumbest thing I ever saw, whispered Tweety, sticking out his tongue and making an awful sound. You're not getting away with that, exclaimed Sylvester. He leaped toward Tweety, who quickly took off toward Granny and Tommy. Tweety veered away at the last moment, but Sylvester, who was at the cannery's tail, couldn't stop himself. Yow! Tommy screamed. The force of the crash threw Tommy to the ground. Watches of all kinds, gold ones, diamond ones, platinum fobs, fell from his pockets. You're the London looter, Granny exclaimed. Oh, man, they caught him. Tweety's so smart. She got him. Tweety had suspicions when he noticed the tour guide using 2 different watches. He then planned the entire action. He knew the watches would fall out when Sylvester crashed into him. See, I'm not silly, he told Sylvester as the police took Tommy away. And I can say Thames. Ooh, the London looter finally got caught. Thanks to Tweety, Sylvester, and Granny visiting London. All right, guys, this is an AR testable book. I checked online, so now that we've read it together, you guys can go take your AR test, go get your points, go get your prizes. Woo-woo! I'll see you guys on the next one.